Well, Chris, good to see you. Start of the season. You said to me a few minutes ago, this is your 9th media day.
Yeah, getting old now. I was 33 on Sunday.
You're a veteran of the series already.
I've been around for a while. Done a bit of racing, but yeah, this is the best feeling I think we've ever had coming into a season with a lot of exciting stuff happening. So yeah, we're feeling good.
How was the Croft test, first of all?
So the Croft test, the first day, the Tuesday, was basically a glorified shakedown for us. It was the first day my car wasn't started until 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just supply issues with parts and getting things put together. We're on the back foot, but it was always going to be in that position, and we knew that before we took it on, because we always knew that it was going to be last minute and everything was going to all sort of come together at some point at the very, very end. But yeah, we got a few laps on the Tuesday. The Wednesday was much better. I got a full day's running. And I've got my new engineer, Martin Broadhurst, now as well. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on. I think we're really on the second half of Tuesday. The second half of Wednesday, sorry. I think we sort of clicked with the car a bit better, and we made a bit of progress.
Did you learn a lot last season about coming back into the championship and what you needed to do? Had you changed as a driver?
I just forgot how hard it was. No, I didn't forget I know how hard it is, but yeah, with me running the team day to day, me, Pete and Ben, it's getting ready for this year started a long time ago. So being here today, and there's nothing really feels new about it. It's just that we're doing it now, and that's it.
When you get so heavily involved in running the team as well, does that reduce the amount of thinking time and focus time that you have for when you're in the car?
No, I think it does the opposite, actually.
No, okay.
Yeah, I think you're always in the game. I think you always know what's going on. You know your finger's always on the pulse. So I think it does the opposite effect for me. I think it actually makes me much more focused on what we're doing. I think it's very positive for me, actually.
You'll have.
I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it.
I was going to say, is that the business side and the logistics side is something that's how your mind works?
Well, I buy and sell cars every day. I have done since I left school. So it's just the same. It's just the same kind of. It's always you're wheeling and dealing and buying and selling and sponsors and new equipment and buying second-hand stuff and just making the thing all work.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, you could just go out with an unlimited budget and buy everything brand new, but it doesn't work like that. We've anything we have, it's we've had a deal for it, or we've had to buy it, or we've had to do a bit of research where we'll find one of those, because we ultimately don't have the budget to go and buy everything brand new. We've got 2 new cars, which is fair enough, but for us to make it happen, we're always hustling to make it happen, which is good. And it makes you appreciate whenever you actually go racing how much work you've put in to make it happen.
Yeah, and you also you alluded to a very good point there about the cost of going racing. I mean, you must constantly have in the back of your mind every time you go out on circuit that perhaps you need to bring the car home in one piece.
No, I think if you go racing that way, I don't think you ultimately get the results. So yeah. You need to know how much it costs, but you also need to realise that you're going racing as well. And these cars, there's very little in them now. The overall grids, especially this year, there's no poor drivers on the track. It's going to be tough. So yeah, no, it's just another season, but it's a season that I feel that we've got a genuine chance now. And I've done this for long enough now to have the experience of. And the experience of the crew who we have on the cars and stuff, it's a great position to be in.
It is a competitive grid, as you pointed out. Some new faces coming in as well, who've shown a good turn of speed at Croft in testing, isn't it? Which is going to be interesting. So, what's the difference then this year, Chris? You've got that look in your eye of confidence already. So, what's the difference this year when you're saying you've got a really good crack at this?
I think last year we came back in again as a new team to the series, the first one I think in 5 or 6 years. The car that we have is a proven car and one that I've driven before.
Yeah.
I think it's great that we've got rid of the hybrid system. I think that's a positive for the series.
I was going to ask you about that.
In many different ways, financially, it made the cars heavy, and we're going to get the same effect with the button on the just using the turbo. So instead of greenwashing, you might as well just do it the way that it works and makes it work for the teams. Yeah. And that for me is how it should be. And motorsport for me still is petrol and engines. It's not the electric stuff. it's not really, for me, motorsport isn't electric.
Are you
It's
one
not,
of those people
not.
who are holding electric at bay?
No,
or,
listen.
not a denier, or-
I see where electric cars work. It works in the centre of London.
Yeah.
Doesn't work at Donington Park.
You need that noise, don't you?
You need the noise, and the people come. The touring cars, they sound good, they're noisy, and that's part of the series. That's part of the championship. And the hybrid thing. I think last year they probably got it much better than what was in the years before. I think it did. I think it did add to the racing, but it adds more financial pressure to the teams. And unfortunately, it didn't convert into, we're going to get another 5 companies on board because the cars have got a hybrid system in them to put sponsorship in. It didn't translate to that. Yeah.
So getting rid of that sort of 75, 80 kilos of weight that was in the hybrid has obviously changed the way that last season I seem to my mind, watching some of the cars, they didn't dance about as much because they were heavier. But I've seen a little bit of footage from Croft, and you can just see the back ends wiggling a bit. Is that the sort of thing you're talking about?
Yeah, if you look back, the year before COVID, 2019, I keep going on about this year, but I think that was the best balance that was ever in the championship between the tire, the weight, and the competitive, the competitiveness of the cars up and down the grid. And I think you're going to see the lap records going this year. The cars are going to be very fast. And I think also that you're going to see a bigger disparity between the tires and the boost, because I think the cars are lighter now. I think you're going to see a bigger spread, which is going to be good for the racing. I think it's going to make it more unpredictable. And as I said earlier, it's going to make the cars faster. At Croft, nearly a lot of the cars run underneath the lap record from the year before. So it's I think it's going to make it very interesting.
The qualifying process stays the same for this year. That's divided opinion between the fans. Some of the fans who love it, some of the drivers who love it, some don't. What's your thoughts?
I think it's good. I think you need to go out and perform right away. It's not like it was in years gone past where you have half an hour and you've 3 sets of tires to throw at it, and hopefully out of one of those you get it near the front somewhere. Now you have to go out. You have 10 minutes, which is basically at most tracks 3 laps to go out and do the business. Yeah. If you don't do it, you're going to end up in that session wherever you qualified, and that's it.
Focuses the mind, doesn't it?
But the weather can change. There's so many things that can happen. You can get held up by a slower car, or a car coming out at the end of the pit lane, and that can be the difference between being at the front, being in the middle, or being at the back.
Absolutely. You've already said that you feel you've got a good chance this year. A couple of weeks' time till we come back here to Donington Park. Hopefully it's going to be a dry start to the season, as it wasn't last year. Although, do you like the wet? You don't mind the wet?
Listen, it's as long as you're on the right tire, it doesn't really matter, because it's the same for everyone else.
What's going to be your mark in the sand for you, Chris? For let's do Donington Park first. When they pull the shutters down at the end of that first weekend, what are you going to be happy with?
I would like to be, in the top 10 somewhere. I'd like to be in the top 10 somewhere and be in a position where we could do something in race 3 or something along those lines. We're coming into the start of the year where we've going to done a day and a half's worth of testing. That's not enough, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse, because I've done this for long enough, and the guys that we've got down there who are working on the car, we should be in a window somewhere that's not a million miles away.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good season, Chris. I'm sure you are. If the look in your eyes, anything to go by.
We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to it. And I'm fitter. I've worked really hard in my training. I just feel like, I've been on the podium, I think 11 or 12 times or 13 times, or whatever it is, but I've only won one race, and that eats me up every time. That's not a stat I like.
It's a tally to add to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have a good season, Chris. Begin this time of the year, we always have a little bit of fun at the end of these chats as well. So you need to choose a couple of questions, 1 to 5. Choose a number 1 to 5.
We'll go 2.
2. What was the last book you read?
I don't read books.
Do you listen to books?
No.
Right, okay.
I listen to enough shit from people every day selling them cars, so I don't read books.
We've battened that down. Okay, another number.
Good 4.
Are you a good passenger in a car?
No, horrendous. Terrible. I'm a bad passenger.
Are you really?
Really bad passenger, yeah. Because I know whenever I'm sitting in, if I'm sitting in beside someone who knows what they're doing, it's fine. But if I'm sitting in beside someone who thinks they know what they're doing, and you can see that they're over their limits, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't like that. I'm a terrible passenger.
Okay, final question. Choose a year between 2000 and 2020. 2010 and 2020.
Go 2017.
2017. Who was champion that year?
2017, Ash Sutton.
Well done. Well done. Good answers. Have a great season, Chris.
Thank you.